I think we all have something different. For me, it's going to be that first big wave or a capsize. That's when I think I'm going to be like, oh, this is real. Hey, we're ready to go. I'm excited. Can't wait to get on the water.
Got calm seas a day. I think that's calm. I don't know.
Day 30. Here we go.
Tougher than I anticipated. There's so many things that I would never have gotten that happened with this team, this time, and yeah, beautiful race, beautiful race.
$3,000 miles, 4 Special Operations Army Ranger veterans, 1 custom-made rowing boat, 42 days, 17 hours and 34 minutes, but who's counting? The goal, 0 U.S. veterans' lives lost to death by suicide, and awareness of the very real struggle of PTSD. It was a show of strength, conviction, and resilience for the Fight or Die FOD 23 team of brothers. A feat not of self, but in the name of every veteran who died by suicide and in the strong, united hope to end veteran suicides altogether. What lessons were learned after those final strokes were finished? How has it colored and defined life going forward for Dave Figgins, Craig Foreman, Joe Leach, and Guy Phillips? We're going to check back in with them now. That crew of the Resilient, 6 months to the day that they collectively completed one of the biggest and most important challenges of their lives. When I say it's an honor to have these guys join me today, it's an understatement. Bringing them right in. We're not going to waste any time. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good. I'm so grateful for y'all, not just for making time today, but for leading by example and in this conviction that you had and physically, emotionally, mentally preparing and then enduring. So do you guys want to start by Guy Phillips? I know we interviewed you earlier, before when you were starting to train. You want to just give us the kind of the shorthand version of why this was so important for the 4 of you. You ended up launching December 12th, 2023, but started before that in getting prepared. You want to tell us more?
Sure. I'll speak to why it was important to them personally. When we initially started, Joe invited me down to a fishing tournament, which was a fundraiser for Fight or Die at the time. And I really didn't know a lot about it at the time. And that's kind of where Joe had spent 26 plus years military, retired. And when he wanted to do this. So, we started our military careers together, and I was at that spot where we were starting to reconnect, over the years, we lost a lot of our friends, whether it was through GWAT or other conflicts, and then also the suicide. And, as that started happening, and when Joe was really passionate about this, I signed on with him, and then it kind of went from there, and then it kind of grew from there. And then eventually we picked up Dave, and then we picked up Craig, and I'll let them speak to their own reasons for doing it. I think we're all similar, that we just getting really tired of seeing our friends go, and they spend all those years doing a lot of different stuff, but then they end up going by their own hand. And that's something that if we can save one life, it's worth it.
I'm going to go ahead and put this link up here for anyone who wants to get involved with this. This organization is near and dear to your heart, the hardrockcharliefoundation.org, correct?
Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of our main right now.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Joe, how about just a sentence or two why this was so important? It was because of your interest that Guy said, let's do this. What was it in your heart that was compelling you?
Yeah, like Guy said, I mean, we all have our own reasons. We have, it's layered, it's very layered. But at the time I was out of the military, I did, my whole life was in the Army and then military and special operations. So when it was time to get out, transition is difficult, whether you spent 4 years or 20 years or 30 years. It's part of who you are. And at the same time, like Guy said, there's a lot of people that we lost through multitude of reasons, through combat or whatever. And we had a friend, Bryant Knight, him and his wife started this organization back in 2018. A guy that Craig and Guy and I had served with, Chris, he'd rode on that team in 2018. So we'd heard about it and we wanted to help out. But with all that, we started doing more research, about veteran suicide. We started learning that like just about 7,000 people died during the whole 20 years between Iraq and Afghanistan, and over 30,000 had died of suicide. And that number it took me aback. I was staggered by it when I heard it. I couldn't believe it was true. And we always hear the number 22, 22 22 lives a day lose their lives to suicide. But it's really like so close to 50. So all of us were passionate about that. All of us were passionate about having friends who died by their own hand or by just ruining their lives through drugs or things that the war had caused them to do. Even if it wasn't taking their physical life, it took their emotional, spirit, or their physical life. And so for those reasons, we wanted to do something. We were all going through our own little personal journeys of what we wanted to heal in ourselves, and then collectively for our brothers. And so, and of course, the bigger reason of whatever we could, if we could save one life, it was enough. And so that's why I did it. And I think the guys have similar reasons.
Craig, you want to weigh in? Joe, thank you for sharing that, because I feel your heart in all of this. That one is too many. So thank you. Craig, you want to share quickly what it was? Because this was an investment for y'all. This was a commitment.
Yeah. They, well, when they initially asked me, they were just asking if I wanted to help them, if I wanted to row across the ocean. I said, no, I'm not doing that, stupid. But, later they got with me and they explained why. And that really sat with me because, I had to go to two hands to count all the friends I know that had suicided. And I just felt a huge burden of responsibility, because Rangers lead the way. It's not just picking up the torch and continuing the march. It's encouraging others to do the same. And if we can all do that, we'll start to lower the suicide mess.
That's it.
Yeah. So I've gone on now. I just got certified as a Soma breath instructor. It's a system of breathing that improves your health and your mood and your situations. And I'm going to take that to veterans now.
So it's just taking the next best step individually, and together we can, together we will. That's what you guys are doing. And it's tangible help. And I admire you more than you could ever possibly imagine. So Dave, you want to weigh in quickly, just what it was for you as well?
Yeah, it was just like the guy said. It was I knew Ryan Knight, and then Joe was introduced to me while Brian was here at my house, and he had been here several times, and we talked about the road. And he said, "Well, there's no available team right now because they're already scheduled out years in advance." So, and then he called and he's like, "Hey, I got a spot." So then talked to Joe, and then jumped on for the exact same reason the other guys did, just to make an impact, to do something, and then to basically try to deal with the issues that we've had through years of war, and then just friends and family. So yeah, it was definitely, the goal was to basically be a part of something to help and stem the tide.
And I want to thank you again, Dave, for popping in a bonus. You all have things going on, and it just it occurs to me the fact that we have all of you here. I'm so grateful. So, all right, so now you have to start training, and Guy lives right here on Lake Erie. So here's this picture. This brought back some memories for y'all. No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That day was rough. I guess I'll speak to it. We had to drive to Kansas City to pick up the boat from the Guardian Initiative that rode in 2022. And one of the things that had happened is we lost, I think we talked about that a little bit in the last interview, Dawn, is that our 2022 team for Fight or Die ended up losing the boat, and was fortunately everybody was saved at sea, but the boat was gone. So we bought Team Guardian's boat. They were first responders out of, I believe, Arizona. And we met them in Kansas City, picked up the boat, and we brought it back to Cleveland. And initially, since we were all kind of Midwest based, other than Joe, who was South Carolina, we decided to do our first month of training on Lake Erie. So that was one of our first days out. We were babes in the water. I'll say that. That's probably the best way I can put it.
all right. But then you had this great resilience boat made, and how appropriately named. Should we go ahead and just show that video right now, you guys, about that kind of gives you an idea of what you wrote on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a good looking boat. But the fact is, it has to sustain you all for, what did we say, 42 days at sea. So we're on the right. Let me pull this up. So here it is. Okay, there we go. So when you guys see this, do any of you kind of miss it a little bit or no? Wait, I got to pull y'all up here. I want to see your faces. Do any of you guys end up, when you look at this, let's show this one too. Pretty cool. Huh? Fight or Die. Very fancy. Okay. Now tell me, let me see your faces. Who misses it a little bit?
Yeah, I do. It's sexy.
Yeah. I didn't know if it was like, kind of like a breakup, like you have fond memories, but
it's a love-hate relationship.
Love hate. That's what I was going for. That's it. Right.
Because that picture and the name, we were all struggling with the name of the boat, and we're struggling with what the new logo would be, because the old Fight or Die logo had been there for 5 years. When that boat went down, the Whoopi went down, it had that iconic World War II like shark emblem, and we were like, do we redo that? Do we do something else? And Bryant and the team down in Mobile, Alabama, they were kind of like, hey, it's kind of like the Phoenix rising again. It's very resilient. Resilience in a term, it has double meaning with the suicides and getting a new boat, kind of getting back in the water, even though just a couple months before that we'd lost the boat, and luckily all the guys were, their lives were saved. And then we had a graphic designer, and we were kind of like, hey, playing with the Bryant actually said, hey, well, let's call it Resilience, and we all voted, and we're like, yeah, that's a great name. And then we couldn't figure out how to get this crack in or eat. We didn't know what to do. And this graphic designer said, let me take a crack at it. And he came out and he showed us that picture. And we all, I think the guys, but I fell in love with it instantly. And I couldn't have been happier with the way the name, the boat, the colors, the whole thing. It just kind of gave us a little oomph. And that boat, with difference between going and seeing people and doing fundraisers and talking about a boat, or having a boat that's just clean and white. Once we got that wrap on there, and it embodied the spirit of the team and the Ranger crest and all that stuff. It's like it took on a whole new life of its own. And then I just love that design.
Absolutely.
It was go time. Let's show this video. I love this.
This is how a man rose.
Or the open ocean.
Man, that water looks so pretty. I forgot how pretty it is.
Same thing I thought. What do y'all think? A little nostalgic when you see that?
Oh yeah. Looking to the Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because the Pacific just ended like this week, I think.
Yeah.
The final team
Yeah.
came in today or yesterday or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday it came in.
You had views like, you know, when I saw some of these things, thanks by the way, Craig, for sharing all of these videos, but like, this is just cool. That's just cool, you know, and views like this. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I can't tell that's sun up or sundown. Which way is the boat facing? That must be sun up.
Yep. Sun up.
That's sun up. Yeah, that's dawn. That's facing the rear of the boat.
Sun up. It's dawn. Is that what you're saying? Okay, let me show this then. Okay, because this is I wanted to do a little look back when you and I talked before, Guy. It was some months out, but coming up and going into Thanksgiving. But let's just take a look back at what you said then, and then let's use the benefit of hindsight being 2020 and reflect on this.
Really just being in really good shape, preparing yourself mentally. So I think that's another thing. Reading books. I'm reading a book right now on the art of resilience. It's like we're kind of diving into stuff like that to mentally get our heads wrapped around what we're going to deal with out there. Because between 35 and 50 days out there that we'll be out there. And, you know, it's going to take a mental toll on us while we're out there.
Thoughts, you guys, on that? Did it in fact, I know it took a toll physically. Give me your thoughts on when you think of the toll it took. Share with me.
Physically, it wasn't terribly taxing physically, but the monotony of just continuous rowing, and obviously you got the blisters on your hands and your feet and your butt.
Oh, yeah.
We're pretty serious.
Sure. Yeah.
If it weren't for those, it might have been a pleasant ride.
As far as the mental component of it all, this brain tap, is that what it's called? Tell me about that.
The brain tap. So our good.
Do we lose Craig?
It looks like Craig might be still.
Sorry.
Oh, you're back. You're back, Craig.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
All right, sorry. Our friend Dr. Vera Gupta is she's in with all these biohackers, and she goes to all these conferences. And one of the people there was Dr. Patrick Porter, who had come up with this brain tap, and it's just it's a great tool for meditating. So it has audio and visual stimulants. So like there's binaural beats. So it gets your brain synced up, because there's one frequency on one side and a different frequency on the other one, and your brain makes up the difference in the frequencies, and it just puts you into that meditative state. And there's a lot of content in there, and it helped me to get the rest I needed, because we're rowing 2 hours on and you're only getting 2 hours off, and you're not getting a full 2 hours sleep because you have to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing y'all were friends, because it was kind of close quarters. Let's show this.
Welcome to life in the cabin. It's it looks smaller than it is. Dave can lay all the way out. It's like a lot of space. The cleaning lady hasn't been in all week. I suspect a shark has.
Clearly the sense of humor was intact still.
That's the only way I could get through life.
Yeah. What about the food, you guys? Tell me about that. I've got some pictures of it. Sounds pretty fancy. Was it pretty good?
I liked it. I've actually eaten a few of them since I've been home.
I was going to ask that. Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't my favorite. I liked the backcountry ones. They had the bison and the venison.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've taken them camping a couple times since I've been home.
What else kind of things did you have to pack?
Oh, there's a list of hundreds of things. Yeah.
Here's a start.
Mhm.
Dramamine, sunscreen, water and tea, and of course you'll need a way to relieve yourselves. Let's just go there. That couldn't have been pleasant for 42 days. Yeah, you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah, it was fine. You
Yeah.
go in your bottle. You go in your bottle, you dump it out, you rinse it.
Yeah.
You're good to
It's not an
go.
issue. There's nobody out there to see you except each other, and we've been doing this since 1990
Exactly.
or earlier.
Yeah.
That
And-
part was normal.
There you go. You find a way or you make one. So there you go. That's what y'all were doing there. So does anyone want to speak to, were you, because some of these pictures I saw felt to me, and I'm sure the picture doesn't even do it justice, it felt to me like if I was taking this in, it would be almost spiritual. Did you feel like you were thinking of people who you don't even know who have died by suicide? Can you give me a window, any of you, into your minds? Joe, hi, welcome back. I added you in. What was it for you, knowing the bigger task at hand and why you were doing what you were doing? Anyone want to reflect on that?
Yeah, I think
Just hoping. Yeah, go ahead.
I think on there are sometimes that like you did be introspective, kind of like, hey, yeah, this is going. This means a lot. There's a lot bigger picture than what I'm seeing. My goals for the whole endeavor, why it began, and you're like, okay, yeah. And then there's just other times where I was just like, I'm just in the moment, right? Like just doing what I'm doing. And sometimes letting that get away from me as opposed to, the bigger picture. Sometimes I just let the moment of whatever was going on. It didn't matter what it was, if it was good or bad or ugly or indifferent. It was just like, yeah, in your brain would get wrapped into that. And then there was just times where I was like, yeah, this has a bigger effect and, more of a, like you're saying, the spiritual effect. So it was
that was my message, was like, if I could come out here and spend 40 some days rowing across the ocean, which is harder, doing that or going down to the VA and asking for some help of some sort?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's deep, Craig. That's deep. Yeah. I'm going to show this video quickly, and then anyone else who wants to comment on if it was sort of spiritual.
Hurry up. I got video.
Hey, video. Hey, how you doing? There you are. Yeah. I'll keep up with you guys.
Wish we could have lassoed one.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Anybody else want to comment too, again, on the solidarity that you guys went into this all for one for all, and doing it for people who, quite frankly, you don't even know. We won't even be able to know for sure how many lives have been saved by the awareness that you have raised and the tangible help that you've given for people in the future. Anyone else want to weigh in on that spiritually for you?
Well, I'll tell you the tangible things that I've learned too is that just being with Craig, Guy, and Joe, all of them had incredible personalities that we each have a personality, but I learned a lot from each one of them throughout the whole entire journey. And I'm sure I was a pain in the butt a lot, but I learned a lot from them. Even though there were some times where we were upset at each other, like now, I'm sitting back here and I'm like, man, yeah, I learned that from Joe. I learned that from Guy. I got that from Craig. Those things, as far as like us four vets, this whole thing was incredible and deepening, my understanding of myself, and then how other veterans deal with it in different ways, So it was interesting to be able to get that from them, and then now take it with us as we move forward. And even people keep asking, hey, have you recovered from your row? And I'm like, well, yeah, I was like two weeks after it done, I was good. But the longer part of it is the emotional stuff, the the whole process of, every day that we were together, that stuff still impacted me today. And it's been pretty incredible. And so that aspect of it, really got into the, my mental state and there are times that I catch myself and I'm like, Craig wouldn't do that,
Yeah. I'm going to show one more clip. Can I? Or was somebody had something to say?
I'll go ahead.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to show this clip and let's talk on the flip side.
All right. I'm recording. Note the position of the gates. Pretty calm this morning. Woo! They said it's supposed to get worse. That's some good waves right there.
So when you see that, you knew obviously that you were going 6 months ago today, you were going to take your final rose. But seriously, did you wonder sometimes like, give me a window into, if you're being realistic, Lord, what have I got myself into? Or no? Tell me.
Yeah, I was like, this is never going to end.
That's hilarious, Craig. Right.
I know. It was like, I hope you a-holes are paying attention, and I don't want to do this for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, we lost our host.
Did anyone end up seasick?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
First 4 days I was just throwing up and couldn't eat or drink much. And it was just like, but then as soon as it was over, And I was perfect.
Yeah, but Dave rode through the whole thing even while he was sick. He gutted it the whole way and still showed up for his road shifts.
That's the only time I felt good when I was rowing. The rest of the time I was just trying to not throw up.
Yeah.
I think when I tell stories about the row, Dave's toughness is the high mark every time. Dave was sick the whole first week, and he kept coming at it. He'd come out of the hatch, get sick, get right on the oars. His hands were so swole from the salt in his hands, he couldn't even close his hands. And you wouldn't even know it because he would just be rowing. And then one time he would grimace or grunt. And you're like, what's going on? He's like, I can't close my hand. How long has that been going on? About 2 weeks.
Man.
One time the oar came back, and it was like a baseball bat hit him in the face. And I would have been crying. And I look back, and you could see he was in pain. He was mad. He just kept rowing.
And broke that gate.
A baseball bat just hit him in the face. And so I was like, I don't know how this dude does it. Like, how is he going every second in pain? And so I would just like to say, touch on what Dave was saying earlier, that when you talk about what you learned, I think it took every one of us, right? We all had an attribute that was needed on the boat to succeed. And at some point, you're happy with each other, then you're frustrated with each other, but all that ebbs and flows, but it's all the fabric of what makes a successful team. And I would say we were highly successful, because of the teamwork we had. And that's everything included. It's all baked in, right? It's the good, the bad, but everybody was, we were doing it for a larger cause, but we all had to get through it ourselves too. So there was days when, I wanted to quit, or I'm sure the other guys wanted to quit. And that's when everybody else when you're at your lowest, they come and pick you up, right? And then I know I'd call my wife and I'd be like, like the last day, we were 100 miles out, right? 100 miles away from the island. We were, all the families had landed in Antigua. We'd been rowing for 42 days, whatever. We're getting ready to come in. It should be a very exciting moment, but we're like, we're 100 miles away, but we're too far south, and we're gonna miss the island. And I was like, we're not gonna be able to do it. And I remember talking to my wife and like, feel down on myself, and she was like, "Don't you come into Antigua all pissed off? Like, there's thousands and thousands of people that you're doing this for. Don't forget about, you know, what you guys have accomplished, all the people that you've inspired, all the things that you're doing for each other and for all these other people." And it took, you know, Dave, Craig, and Guy, and our families and our other friends to pick us up some points so that we could then pick them up, you know, even further. And so it was, we like to say, everybody was in the boat. Everybody was in the boat with us. We were just the ones rowing, right? But everybody had to be in the boat, or we wouldn't have made it.
It's a good point you make, that these whole families were making sacrifices. Let's just show one more video as we begin to wrap this up. This spoke volumes, because you left and holidays were missed with your families. Here we go.
All right. Hey, Merry Christmas, Fight or Die. Yeah, we're on the water. You'll see Santa Claus. So we dropped some presents for our location.
Fond memory there, guys.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing at, I'm wearing a jacket, Craig's got his shirt off, and Dave's got a thin shirt on. That's how the whole row was. Dave and Craig were hot, I was freezing, and that's how we made it.
And I stay dry. Joe and Dave got wet all the time.
I love it. Okay, so my final question, and we can begin to wrap this up. Let's just show these quickly. These are way back in the day when y'all knew each other for the very first time, right? Let's see. Let's see. Do you recognize these people, you guys?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
It's easy with our names too.
Yeah. Well, nobody's getting any younger, but all I have to say is that same admirable the way you guys chose to serve, that same drive, that same personality is what we're admiring today and just so grateful for. I know that the befores and afters are very telling. You've had 6 months to recoup, but let's just show these quickly. Like, this was, what are you thinking when you see that?
That's cool.
Yeah, it tells a story, huh? The befores and after.
Oh yeah.
It tells a 42-day story.
I was just turn them off.
Yeah.
That's a year-long story right there.
Yeah, definitely year long.
That brought back a lot seeing those pictures.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And I didn't say much. I mean, we were talking about the holidays and stuff like that. And I just couple on what Joe said. A lot of people just, even to this day, I'll meet people out and I'm out to dinner or, whatever. And someone will say, you were on that team that rode the ocean. We followed you the whole way. We talked about you at dinner. And that was one of the things that really kept us going along the way. I mean, as bad as things got at times out there, I mean, we had our good times, our bad times, but what really kept us going was knowing that everybody was following us, and the amount of people, just the love and the warmth and everything it radiated through the air, and it got to us out there. Like it's what pushed us.
Hey, even last week, I didn't tell the guys this yet. I was up in D.C. and I was getting ready to have dinner with an old buddy. He just bought this company, and one of his employees has been a lifelong rower, rowed in college, rowed crew, and all this. He's like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go to dinner with these guys that rode the ocean," and he's like, "Is it Fight or Die?" He's like, "I've been following those guys." Just some random guy, that works for him, and so it's easy to forget, but there was a lot of people that were following us, and thank God for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I still run into people who are like, when they find out who I am, they're like, "Oh, you were on that boat team, weren't you? Did you?" And then there'll be a whole conversation, and they're like, "Oh, I was watching that. That was awesome," And it's just random people, wherever. So it's pretty cool.
So you obviously inspired others. If we wrap this up, how has it colored life for you guys moving forward? Obviously, you're not in the resilience boat physically anymore, but you are in a resilient state of mind that you weren't before, I have to imagine. Anybody want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I think that the whole row and this team really made an impact on my life for the long run. Just because it's just like overseas when we were doing military tours or whatnot. The people who you do it with, you are like lifelong friends, and all of a sudden memories flood back, and things happen throughout the day, and all of a sudden a memory comes back, and I start thinking about these guys, and then we want to continue to grow and see how we can, continue with Fight or Die. So it's amazing to see the outpouring even now, 6 months later, from when we first started too.
Anyone else want to weigh in as we wrap it up? Craig's a trooper. He's taken us all the way in the car because he's giving us more time than
it was
we.
a hell of a journey. It was a hell of a journey. It changed my life. I think it changed everybody's life. It's hard to, you get the day-to-day, the mundane task of the day. It's easy to forget what a momentous accomplishment it was, or how it changed our life. But you see the fabric of the universe out there. You show some pictures of the sunrise, the sunsets, the moon rises. It was just an incredible experience that I just feel fortunate that we all got to do together. And and it is fortunate, like not everybody can do that. And so it was a once in a lifetime thing. And maybe the guys will do it again someday.
Absolutely. And it's like there's a third order effect that in combat and whatnot, we're always looking at third order effects. And then one of those third order effects for the last 20 years were military people going to fight and having to deal with trauma and stress and all that. And then the good third order effect is that now we can, like, we've grown from this experience. We can be more like able to carry on and help other people.
And I know that you all are working through some very real effects as well, physically, that you need to. This was not all. I mean, there was a commitment and an investment, and a lot of times it was in physical ways. And so I just thank you, and I pray for each one of you to be stronger than ever, and I pray for the effort that you made to be exponential. Speaking of an ocean, like a pebble into the water, like that, just lives will be saved. And I just thank you guys. I can't thank you enough for being classic, the good stuff. So God bless you all. And you make sure you give me a call when you're ready to do it again.
Thanks, Don. Good to see you guys. Love you guys.
Either way.
Oh, I love you all. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
I think it's only fitting to go back out on that same video. All right, guys. Thanks again. God bless.
I think we all have something different. For me, it's going to be that first big wave or a capsize. That's when I think I'm going to be like, oh, this is real.
Hey, we're ready to go. I'm excited. Can't wait to get on the water.
Got calm seas today. I think that's calm, huh?
Day 30. Here we go.
Anticipated. There's so many things that I would never have gotten that happened with this team, this time. And yeah, it's awesome. Beautiful listening, beautiful lyrics.